So it's 6 a.m. and people are just about to start showing up. The birds are showing up. Yeah, bird. It rained really hard last night, and there's several nests under the eaves of this roof. Suppose I can point the camera towards one of them. That over there, I think there's a nest in that corner. If maybe you can see it. I can't see it. I'm blind, but I heard them there. The other nest, I think, might be up in that corner there. Don't dox the birds. They have their nests all set. I've got to find a way of protecting their nests when they come to do the restoration here, because the house got burned out. There's legal protection for birds. I just need to do my research. Well, it's no execution Tuesdays. There's a fast around the world going on every Tuesday now for the women in Lakan prison and the 56, 57 something other prisons in Iran where women are being held for political subversion. They wave flags and get accused of armed rebellion. Literally, that was one piece of evidence. The other, an unsent voice message. I don't know what that really represents symbolically. I've got to take it apart at some point, but I'm taking the day apart. It turns out that the day of Tuesday, it's more than 24 hours, because around the world, it's 48 hours. From where it starts in Karibas, all the way back to the Baker and Howell Islands on the other side of the international date line. So when Tuesday starts, it's starting and stopping around the globe as it flows across the face of the earth. And then when it comes back to Baker and Howell, the day is finally done. But it's been 48 hours, not just 24, that it takes for a calendar day or a day on the week, like no execution Tuesday, to go all the way around the world. So you get what are called macro hours, where it still has 24 hours, but each hour is 2 hours long. And I realized that accords with the Chinese calendar clock day, where each hour is 2 of our hours. Our hours? 2 of our, O-U-R, hours, H-O-U-R-S, non-possessive. With our possesses the hours. It's our hours. And now I'm getting distracted, but I wanted to talk about macro hours later on, and if anyone knows anything about that, please leave it in the comments. I'd never heard of macro hours before. Researching this in my notes, my virtual assistant that dug it up and sometimes hallucinates things, but hallucination can be intentional when you feed the AI a psychedelic in the form of typos sometimes and your own unique inspirations. I think that the typos really help. They say there's hallucinations and artifacts, but the artifact is the typo of the machine, and you can cause them to hallucinate by giving them sometimes, especially if you tell them that's what you're doing. Not that you're giving them drugs, but that it was a typo. You put a little asterisk by the typo, and the rest of the note later on, you'll say this was a typo for that was a typo for this. And if you have an absurdist lens implanted, and all you have to do for that is research absurdism and the different branches of it. Meaningful absurdism is one I subscribe to, and theistic absurdism, the logical conclusion of that, everything has meaning if you view it through a divine lens. If God shows you the meaning, then it has meaning. But otherwise, it's all meaningless. That's my take on absurdism as a theistic absurdist. But what was I talking about before that? I've got to get on track. I've got to make a map. I've got to get a stack of glass out of the track of destruction after the combustion. It was such a laugh. I didn't want to not be distracted. I couldn't have been more so really. More so really. I've been working so hard to get things lined up, and it's just corrupt or bust. I've got to tame my fleeting lusts. I'll find the time to bind my rust. Bind my rust. That's a good one for antioxidants. I know this is drivel. I'm very tired. I haven't slept or eaten for a few days because it's no to execution Tuesdays, but at least still I'm spouting poetry, you know? You know, that is the thing. The adjusters are coming in today to adjust my house. I don't usually talk about it, but if you got that far in this video, that's not a beat poetry for the most part video where I'm actually talking about something that's going on in my life. My house burned down. I may have mentioned this. I mentioned it in a bunch of raps obliquely, but I'm here on the day. I've been resisting adjustment by the company adjusters. Never not get a private adjuster. They'll take a cut, but they'll argue against the rip-off artists at the insurance company when your house burns down or floods or anything. I don't think you have to do it for your car unless you have a Lamborghini and you want a vintage Lamborghini that you wouldn't want scrapped if it was totally destroyed. But they do that kind of thing routinely. I'm sure that this house is not a car, but it's quite a scene. We've got to go through it, but I'm excluded. And that's the thing that I just spat a bar about, although I was trying to just go in prose. But yeah, that really happened. It really did. It really is about to happen. They're getting here in just a few minutes. Just a few many minutes. But I've got to take this as a macro hour time. I've got to expand time, dilated it instead of contracting it. The faster I go, the more it will crash, but the more I slow down, the more it will last. My goal is to slow down the adjusters from both sides, my public adjusters and their company adjusters, which are the private adjusters, technically. I've learned this through studying it quite a bit. It's a very confusing landscape, but I'm about to navigate it, and I have some extra help. I got a lucky break when I was calling around other adjuster companies because they didn't want to let me in the house while they were working. And I called their parent company. It's like, if you don't do what I say, I'll call your daddy and tell him to set you straight. And he's kind of doing that. He's coming over. He's going to be my proxy. He's going to be a go-between between the guy who's walking around in the house and me sitting out on the couch, where I do my sitting and twist some wires up, bite some bottle caps, make a little this, a little that. I've got my tape under the table. I don't know where my dikes are. I just learned that word yesterday, but it's the same day because it's Tuesday. My girlfriend told it to me. I didn't know that's what they were. I'd heard it before, but those are the pliers that I need to cut my wire. They're not exactly pliers. They're similar, though. And sadly, I don't know where I left them. I'm bereft of them. There's a theft of them. There's a theft I'm afraid is about to go on in my house, but I've got to get out. I've got to stay out. I was just about to go in to open up all the windows so it'd be more transparent, but apparently there were a bunch of spiders that hatched last night because it's a glorious bed of arachnophobia in there. I walked in and I got stung by webs. This happens to me out in the yard around twilight in the morning. And it's painful. They interact with the existing insect parts and mite bodies and whatnot in my skin. Glass in my foot here, I think, has a mosquito bite. Oh my god, the place around here is gonna either kill me or make me ready for the apocalypse. But I have a burnt out house and I'm about to go not take a tromp in it. They have hazmat suits. I don't. I've got to be glad I'm cast out for a moment.